Coming to you live from the UCOM Media Studios, it's UCOM Live with Chris LaGrange. News, talk, sports, and workforce politics. The loudest, strongest, and fastest growing podcast on, in, and around the internet. Now here's your host, Chris LaGrange.
Rick Levy, the president of the 235,000 member AFL-CIO, will be Skyping in. His state is in play. And will the Lone Star State go blue this November? Union officials in New York indicted on bribery, and the PLA is under attack. Our buddy Josh Slaughter is Skyping in to join the convo on that one. The N-word does not create a hostile work environment. Trump's pick for SCOTUS actually freaking believes that. Will OSHA ever recover? And who killed construction workers in Houston? What's up, everybody? UCOM Live with me, Chris LaGrange. News Talk Sports and workforce politics, the most controversial labor news show on, in, and around the internet. James, we're all good, right, buddy?
All good.
No delay today?
Oh, no, we still need to
we're still going to have
some
a
money
delay
behind that.
Okay, that's right. If you want to not see delay, give us $800. And we can buy the tool to get it done, right? Know it all, Brian?
Just for the
I'm freaking annoyed with Brian too, because I just always am. But your computer's gonna break during this show.
Hopefully not.
All right.
Hopefully it doesn't.
Brian. All right. We got a new dump for our new guest.
Ricky, how's it going?
Anyway, Rick Levy, the president of the 235,000 member Texas AFL-CIO, is on hold. He's going to be joining us any second. Now, let me intro this. Usually, we're in New York. So goes New York labor. So goes the United States. Not anymore. Texas AFL-CIO has grown tremendously recently, right, Brian? I mean, you're just saying that to keep me happy because you're on my shit list?
I guess.
Swear jar. Rick is the president of the Texas AFL. He was elected in 2017. Before that, he was secretary-treasurer. He began working for the state Fed in 1990. Wow, 1990. I was still in high school. I was a freshman in high school.
I was barely born. I was only 3.
Yeah. Brian was shitting himself.
Yeah.
Anyway, stop cursing, Chris. He was first the legal director and then general counsel. And he represented the state Fed in a bunch of different ways, passing laws and all that good stuff. He's focusing on helping build a broader, bolder, better, stronger, faster, and more elusive labor movement. And you're hearing a lot about Texas. I'm wondering if the demographics are changing. Is it that Beto gave it some life? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit of that. I mean, I've heard some interviews with Beto where he said it was simply just going into communities that had never seen a Democrat before.
Yeah.
And asking them to vote for him. It's like everywhere else, it's getting younger. Texas is getting browner. So
he messed that up. He didn't give. Pee-wee said the stars at night are big and bright. Remember, James? We're worked very hard here. Can we, before we get Rick on, can you cue up Beto's comments on their strategy?
Sure.
Okay, let's go ahead and do that real quick before we get our guest on.
Because powered by people, the Texas Democratic Party, the candidates themselves have made tens of millions of voter contact attempts. We've identified our voters. Now we got to turn them out. So on Monday, the 12th of October, which is the eve of early voting, which starts the next day on Tuesday, we're going to try to call 1 million known Democratic voters and get them to make a commitment to vote on the first day of early voting, thereby avoiding any long lines on November 3rd, making sure that they get their votes in. We're going to be joined by Oprah Winfrey, Willie Nelson, Bernie Sanders, Stacey Abrams, Julian Castro, Andrew Yang, and a bunch of other amazing
What a crew.
people.
What a
Wait,
crew.
right?
Yeah.
Don't interrupt the man when he's speaking,
I'm
Dale.
so pumped to be a part of this, and so grateful that these folks who have such a large following and are so concerned about the state of our democracy and the need to vote are willing to lend their names and their time to this as well. So the million voter phone bank on Monday, the 12th of October.
That was just recently.
Yeah, it just happened this week.
Yeah, I saw like some imagery of Willie Nelson making phone calls. Beto needs a hamburger, right? Send him a jar of Crisco.
I guess he can't go out to Whataburger.
If they turn Texas blue, I will do backflips down Fifth Avenue. I will, and I'll be nice to you for a week. Do we got our guest?
No, I'll get him up right now.
Okay. So again, our guest, Rick Levy, the president of the 235,000 member Texas AFL-CIO, and it's a growing union movement, and they could turn the state blue. And as we're all busting our ass to turn out the union vote in Michigan, Ohio, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, we're not talking about Texas enough, but we are right here on world famous UCOM Live.
There are a few of these states that previously we didn't think we could win, but now, you know, they look like they're in play. Arizona, Texas, Georgia, Iowa, you know, they all could be in play for Biden to win this year.
Right. Mr. Levy, are you with us, sir? I think you got him muted there, James. We'll figure this out. The million calls that Beto claimed to have made, right?
Yeah.
Which the whole goal is to go ahead and push for early voting, right? That seems to be the strategy in every state.
Yeah.
I mean, duh.
I mean, early voting is the way to go, because if you show up and there's a line on Saturday, you always can come back on Sunday.
Yeah. I'm not going the first day. There's no way. Rick, how are you, buddy? Are you there? Not yet. We're getting there. If you're a staffer to Rick Levy, let him know that we're trying to figure out where the unmute button is. We're
not muted on this end.
Oh, he's not?
We have his video up.
We have his video. All right. Rick, can you wave if you can hear me? Let's see if he waves. I like his look, though. He is very LaGrange-esque. Beto, LaGrange, Rick Levy. Yeah. All right. Yeah, no, okay.
We're going to try one more time.
All right, we're going to try one more time. I clearly said to Skippy, when Pee-wee said, you know, Dottie, I'm in Texas. Well, prove it. And he leans out the phone booth and goes, the stars at night are big and bright. And everybody walking around in their bucket hat stops and sings.
We have a Skype caller. Wasn't that a thing in Pee Wee Herman when they would come up and they would hit the doorbell? Or was that a different?
That was a stupid show. Anyway.
Here we go, Chris.
All right. Mr. Levy, are you there? Yeah. Yeah. All right.
I'm calling. Okay?
All right. Great. Guys. Christ. All right. We're going to have to get him on the phone now because we can't figure out Skype. Can't figure out Skype. So I got to sit here, you know, they think it's easy for me with dead air just to say shit while we make a call. Come on, guys.
Well, if Biden wins Texas, the election's over.
Yeah. I mean, Florida, I like that we've given up on it as a nation. I mean, the Florida state Democrats probably don't feel that way. Excuse me.
Well, we've basically let Mike Bloomberg handle it.
Yeah.
He's paying people's fines, getting them registered to vote, and he's running all the ads down there.
Yeah. But you know, Obama won Florida twice. I think he won it twice.
Think so.
So if Obama can win it twice, that means that there are Democrats there, and then there are voters there.
Mm-hmm.
And the bigotry of the Trump nation, the voters that we somehow give a fuck about their opinion. Trust me, if you meet a voter, who gives a shit what they think? Fucking get your boat out of my way. That's the only conversation you should be having with a voter. They're very vocal, very loud rallies. They're caravans.
Mhm.
That is the vocal minority.
Definitely.
You know, I mean, old people in Florida who watched all their friends die and are literally watching them die now. Yeah, they may have been entertained by Donald Trump for a few years. They've gotten smart about it.
Well, did you see the pictures from the villages
we have
down
them on the
in
phone.
Florida?
Okay. No, what?
Well, that was where they had the big Trump rally and the people were screaming white power and stuff. And then the first day of early voting, it was just a line of golf carts. Everybody had Biden signs. And they
Oh,
were
yeah,
all
I
going
saw
early
that.
vote.
All right. Rick, you with us?
I am with you. I mean, what are you trying to do? Kick me out or what?
I tell you, James probably had a few beers in him before he came today. I don't know.
Wish that was the excuse.
Thank you for being flexible with us, Rick. How are you and the state Fed doing, brother?
We are doing awesome. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the pictures, but it's quite dramatic what's going on in here in Texas.
You guys are a growing union movement. I remember having Ed on maybe a few months ago. Ed Sills, your comm guy. And can you reiterate to us what industries is the Texas AFL-CIO growing in?
Well, a lot of public sector growth. Our biggest affiliates are the American Federation of Teachers and the American Federation of Government Employees. The building trades, really, the whole building trades movement is organizing and growing really across the state. And then, we've got some manufacturing coming in. We've got, the machinists continue to grow. Steel workers continue to work. So, it's a really vibrant labor movement, and we're really excited about what's going on here in Texas.
With all the new organizing going on and the fact that we have a national election, are you getting a lot of attention from the national AFL-CIO on that as well? Like,
that's a great question. Yeah, that's a really great question. So, yes, it used to be that out of sight, out of mind, and, we were a right-to-work state, right to work for less state, and so, people didn't feel like it was worth investing here. But lately, that has completely changed, and to the point where, the AFL-CIO has this national organizing initiative where they selected 3 cities to run model coordinated organizing campaigns.
Mm-hmm.
It's, you would expect Chicago, you would expect Seattle, but Houston is one of those 3 cities. And that, I think, is reflective of the real potential that we have for growth here. And politically, too, unions are coming and seeing the change we can make in Texas and what an impact that'll have on the rest of the country. And more resources are coming into Texas for political work, too. So we feel like it's, this is, we're really on the cusp of something really different and really dramatic.
Yeah, I'm wondering, right? Right-to-work states have challenges in collecting dues.
Yeah.
And what the average non-union future members got to understand that your dues do not go towards political activity. But here you are with only 235,000 members in the entire state. You're in play. Everyone's paying attention. Are members not only giving dues to their union, but they're also giving dues to their COPE and PAC funds as well? Or do you not know that?
Dues to their COPE and PAC fund?
Yeah,
I do know that.
Yeah, okay.
And I also know that. I also know that they are. I also know that they are volunteering in waves that we haven't seen. I mean, the level of outpouring in this election. People are engaged. People are focused. We have dozens and even sometimes hundreds folks. On our phone banks, our text banks. People get it that we're like. We're the biggest battleground state right now, and we're acting like it.
That's awesome. I know that like a year ago when Beto was running for president, and he, between us girls and everyone else watching, right? He didn't know too much about organized labor. You could just tell in talking to the man. But I'm wondering, the energy that he brought in running for Congress, running for Senate, then running for president, and now you got an energized state. Do you think he's got a bright future in the Democratic Party in this great country of ours? Is he seeing the power of organized labor now?
Question.
Yeah. Is he seeing the power now?
All right, so I'm going to answer that. I'm going to answer that in 2 different ways.
Okay.
So the first thing I would say is that yes, he did bring a lot of energy, and he brought a lot of attention, and just he's an amazing campaigner and did an amazing job almost taking out Ted Cruz. But the thing that people have to understand is that there had been deep organizing going on for years prior to that formed the basis for that work. Organizing in urban areas and communities of color among labor folks, hard work organizing that he kind of came and took and set a match to, which was great. But that doesn't happen if there hadn't been a lot of work going on prior to that. The second thing is he is working right now. He started an effort the other day where they actually, in the course of one day, made 3 million calls to voters around the state of
Crazy.
Texas, harnessing that energy, using Oprah Winfrey and Willie Nelson, et cetera, to get people to get on phone banks and do it. But he is a much better candidate. He is much more connected to organized labor. And if you have a second, let me tell you a little. Can I tell you a little story? Can I tell you a little story?
Absolutely. Real quick, Rick, do we have the picture of Rick with Beto to pop up on the screen? Let's pop that up. Go ahead, Rick.
So, okay, I can't see. I'm like in the dark here, but when he first ran for Senate, we had our COPE convention. You're familiar with the COPE convention.
Yes, absolutely.
And we were considering his endorsement, and he didn't come. He didn't show up. And I don't know whether he felt like he didn't need to or whatever, but he was running against Ted Cruz, who, I wouldn't vote for Ted Cruz if it was the last thing on earth. But, our board and our members said, well, you know what? We're tired. We're tired of just endorsing candidates because they have a D by their name or because they expect we're going to do that. And we didn't endorse him. And people were like, what do you mean? How can you not endorse him? You're supporting Ted Cruz. No, we're not. But we're tired of spending our money and our effort for folks that don't fully understand what our issues are and what we need in politicians to fight for us. If we're going to fight for them. And to his credit, he called the very day that the endorsement didn't happen. And he said, as he says, I effed up. What do I need to do? To get right with y'all. And we had a really good conversation, and we explained to him what the issues were and what we needed to do together. And he went around the state and talked to labor people and came back and said, hey, I've met with these folks, and everybody felt really good. And it made him a much better candidate. It made us a much better ally. And it was, that moment of like us saying, no, you can't take us for granted. You have to work with us was a really important part in our relationship to politics in general, but also in our relationship to Beto, which has been excellent.
I hope he tells that story someday as he's standing on a national stage, because I have a weird feeling that Beto O'Rourke is young enough, smart enough, and has enough energy to someday be the leadership that this Democratic Party needs. And Rick, no pressure, brother, but it's kind of on you.
But,
I'm on
it, brother. I'm on it. I take it. I'm going to climb up on these big, broad shoulders, but I got it. It's all good. Yeah. I don't have a problem with that at all.
Listen, UConn PAC, we have a super PAC. We're pushing ads in certain parts of the nation. Unfortunately, Texas isn't on that list. But let's say we could help.
Wait a minute. Back up.
I feel like you got it under control.
Texas is not on the list. Huh?
We don't have that.
Do you want to be a part of history? Do you want to be a part of history, or do you not want to be a part of history? That's up to you. I can't make you.
How about this, brother? If my conversation with the AFT goes well, I promise you Texas will be in play, because we're trying to change the hearts and minds of energy workers, whether they're in the union or not, in Minnesota, Wisconsin, Ohio, Pennsylvania. But we will try to change the hearts and minds of Republican teachers in your state with this ad that we're going to play later in the show. But two counties are, like 2 or 3 counties in your great state, are you guys really concentrating on right now?
So the major ones, the last major urban county to not be Democratic is Tarrant County, which is where Fort Worth is.
Okay.
And our goals this political cycle is to flip the Texas State House to where it is a Democratic House. We have to flip 9 seats to do it. We flipped 12 seats last cycle. I think we are going to do it. 5 of those races are in Tarrant County. We are working very, very heavily there. Dallas County has several races, and the area just around Dallas, kind of the suburbs of Collin County, Plano, et cetera, are some very contested races. And then down in the Houston area, in Fort Bend County, which is just to the west of Houston, trying to win some races in Houston. And taken all together, pretty much in those 3 counties, if we're able to be successful there's a couple in Central Texas, but if we're able to be successful in those 3 counties, we're going to have a Democratic speaker in January when the legislature.
I love that.
Down.
I love how intelligent you guys are on this as well. We had Austin Kaiser from the IBEW on a few weeks ago explaining.
Oh, yeah, the IBEW.
Yeah, how important Allegheny County and Pittsburgh is. I mean, to a New Yorker, what's Allegheny County? But to someone in Pennsylvania, especially in Pittsburgh, oh, that's my home. Like, we're pinpointing by county where we need these votes to come from. Plano, isn't Frito-Lay based in Plano? And they're a union employer, I assume.
Yeah, the Teamsters.
Okay.
They're Teamsters.
And the Teamsters are active with you?
Also, I think you have CW also.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, the Teamsters are some inactive in some parts of the state more than others.
Right.
But yeah.
Right. Well, hey, Rick, I want to thank.
It's even more than by county. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, brother. You were saying something?
No, I was just going to say it's more than by county. I mean, it's by House district. And, that's where we're focusing every bit of our attention. We figure we win those places. We lift the vote for Biden. We lift the vote for MJ Hager for Senate. And we got also like 10 congressional races that all kind of fit all together in that same place.
Gotcha.
So that's where we're focusing our effort.
I got to cut you loose because we got to get on the next issues. But I want to thank you for.
We're just getting started.
I know, brother. I know, but like I got so much to go through in like an hour and a half.
I mean, Texas is a big place. We got a lot to talk about. All right, we'll do it again.
Let's do this again after the election when we have a victory beer.
All right.
And
sounds good.
And I just want to thank you for like caring. In New York, we're in a free bargaining state. In New Jersey, I mean, we got the world by the balls, and you're there struggling just all the time to make payroll, to keep the lights on, and now here you are leading by example. New York, New Jersey labor leaders should be paying attention to what you're doing and how you're getting it done, because you have more energy in the Lone Star State than we do here in the Empire. So thank you, Rick, for the work you do, my brother.
I appreciate you saying that, but I have to say, I'm going to stand up for Vinny, my boy Vinny Alvarez in New York.
All right, yeah, Vinny.
Okay. All right. I mean, because if you are, I'm coming for you.
We'll tag Vinny in our comm after this show is produced, my friend.
Okay.
Thanks.
Right,
thanks a bunch, Rick.
Okay, brother.
Have a good one, buddy. Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. There you go. Okay, you got his picture with him and Beto up there. Look at that. Man, what a great attitude.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I don't know. 235,000 members. There's more members in the suburbs of New York than there are in his entire state. But he's taking all those resources and making something great about it. And here's the thing, like those of you who are part of a local union, no matter where it's at, it could be Midwest, Deep South, in union strongholds like New York, Illinois, Chicago. And you're like, I like the collective bargaining stuff. I like the new organizing. I don't like the politics so much because it's divisive and Tony doesn't like Sally. And here's the thing. Politics is good exercise. It gives the union something to concentrate on, to build real power on for the future, for you to groom and raise the next generation of union leaders. It gives you a public-facing organizing, whereas organizing factories or shops or yards or construction companies, you're having these backroom behind truck conversations. When it comes to politics, you're wearing your union shirts loud and proud and everyone's fucking seeing it. That's why political organizing, getting involved with your pack and cope is so goddamn important for local unions to do. And for unions not to have pack, it's kind of like, I don't know, Jesus, a plane without a propeller.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just there. You have no direction.
Yeah.
I don't know if the propeller is a good acronym, but
I always think it's like a gun without bullets, right? You have something that looks really dangerous, but you have no way to sort of bring that through.
I mean, that's what I love about the communications workers of America in New York. They got pissed at the Republican Senate. They went out kind of on their own, much against the will and desire of the state Fed and other unions for that matter, and they fucking got rid of them all.
Yeah.
And they turned the entire Senate. You know, even though my good friends and other unions are like, we do need a balance of power, I do believe that. But like Rick did with Beto, Rick Levy and the state AFL-CIO in Texas taught that man to respect us.
Mhm.
Do not take us for granted. And that's the number one argument I'm getting when I'm out in the field all the time meeting with folks. It's just that Democrats take us for granted, and I don't argue with them.
Yeah.
But listen, if after 4 years with Trump, you're still not convinced, what the fuck you doing on this job site? All right, let's do a break. When we come back, we're going to get Josh on, hopefully. We'll test out this Skype while we're on break to talk about 11 union officials are indicted in New York, and now project labor agreements are under attack by a fake union. Can't wait to read those stats to you. We'll be right back. UCOM Live with Chris LaGrange, News Talk Sports, Workforce Politics, the most controversial labor news show on in and around the internet. Be right back.
Promotional considerations for UCOM Live with Chris LaGrange are provided by the following.
Did you read that story on UCOM Blog? UCOM Blog is America's fastest growing daily news service, delivering news on progress, sports, entertainment, current events, and workplace politics. Our team of writers and trusted sources weed out the bullshit and get you the stories that you need. With a weekly email and a daily workweek text, you can't find content like ours anywhere else. Designed for the busy activists on the go, that's UCOMblog.com. UCOMblog.com.
I can't believe he found them.
He seems sorry.
We very clearly told him not to look up there.
I'm honestly impressed that he was able to do it.
Right? What did he balance on that big chair?
Yeah, I mean, I guess he'll just know what his gifts are this year.
I really thought we had hidden them well.
If they can find their presents, they can find a gun.
911, what is your emergency?
Every day, 8 kids and teens are unintentionally killed or injured by loaded and unlocked guns. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and End Family Fire.
Put your mask on! Put your mask on! There's COVID cases! Hurry up! Put it on! Put it on! Put your mask on! Put your mask on! There's COVID cases! Hurry up! Put it on! Put it on!
I love New York. We love New York.
We've been stuck inside our homes,
while our everyday heroes have been working overtime
for New York to reopen
and stay open.
We all need to do our part
and show that we care.
Look, man.
I wear a mask to protect you.
You wear a mask to protect me.
Let's all wear a mask
to stop the spread of coronavirus
and save lives.
When we show up in the mask,
we're showing up for each other.
Show your love for New York.
Because New York loves you.
2016, we took a chance on Donald Trump. Over the last 4 years, all Trump has done is make things worse.
It will climb up towards 20% by next month.
The latest report shows unemployment has already climbed to nearly 15%, and more than 20 million Americans lost their jobs last month.
He made it more dangerous to go to work by cutting OSHA inspections and getting rid of important safety regulations. He tried to eliminate federal pensions 3 times. He put a PACO strikebreaker on the National Labor Relations Board, and then used the board to ban unions from bargaining COVID safety measures.
It's also more deadly than your strenuous flus.
He attacked union leaders.
Because the heads of the union are not honest people. They're not honest. They're not honest, and they ought to lower your dues.
He attacked members and veterans who work at the VA, calling them sadistic thieves.
We had a lot of bad people in the VA, people that were sadistic, people that stole,
and failed to protect students and teachers returning to school. Plus, he announced his support for right to work and appointed the deciding vote on the Supreme Court that made public sector workplaces open shop.
Well, I think right to work is a good thing.
If this is what he did in his first 4 years, imagine what he could do with 4 more.
UConn packet.
Get your booty to the pole, 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 yeah.
Did we get your attention? Good. So, you really not gonna vote?
You know it's more than just the president on the ballot, right? Check it.
A district attorney decides who to prosecute,
Including whether or not to go after dirty cops. Do you know who elects the DA? We do.
But you don't want to vote.
Can't make it rain if you locked up on some bullshit.
Want trades and coding taught in our schools? Then vote for the school boards that will prepare us for the job market. Want to end cash bail?
Well, then vote for the sheriffs and county officials that feel the same way you do.
But you talking about, they gonna pick who they gonna pick, shawty.
Ferguson just elected their first black mayor.
You know how that happened?
It's clear Black lives don't matter to some of our current elected officials.
If they matter to you,
Then don't let other people decide who's gonna run your community.
get your booty to the poll.
Get your booty to the poll. Get your booty to the poll.
Get your vote, yeah, vote, stretch.
For information on how and where to vote, as well as resources to find out who's running where you live, go to getyourbootytothepoll.com.
To the pole, get your booty to the pole, get your booty to the pole, get your booty to
Stand up, bitch!
All right, you come live with Chris Grange, News Talk Sports, Workforce Politics, the most controversial labor news show on, in, and around the internet.
You know, I just got that last video for the first time.
What, booty to the polls?
Yeah, I didn't realize the stripper pole involved.
The most
I didn't know they're saying two things at the same time.
important message in that is, do you want trades and coding taught in the schools? Well, get your booties to the polls. Because that's right.
Ugh.
That's my favorite commercial of all time.
Yeah, I got to figure out.
We should
how to
warn people
transpose you
that
in
we're
the
going to
background
run
or
that
something.
because we have, like, some sensitive moral oral types.
Ryan's cousin. What was the
Yeah,
guy?
that guy,
Too much cursing?
Brent, doesn't like the fucking cursing. Sorry, Brent.
Ricky, how's it going?
Want to just play the video again?
No. But we did play the video of the black guy yelling at the Hasidic Jew for not wearing a mask. You saw that,
Yeah,
right?
I didn't know.
That,
you can't tell
that
who's
takes you by
yelling.
surprise. It was only funny because the guy started running. I mean, what's the guy going to do? Park and come out and tackle you?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's funny to people outside of the New York
you
area.
got to
'cause I don't know
understand.
what Hasidic
Yeah,
Jews
so
are.
do we explain the issue a little bit? The Hasidic communities in New York, which is Brooklyn and parts of Hudson Valley, are heavily Hasidic. They don't really assimilate. If you have Hasidics in your community, they kind of stick to their own. They got,
The best way to think of it,
they run their own schools. They have
Minivans.
their own
Yeah.
communications and transportation. Unless you're a Hasidic Jew, you have no fucking idea what's going on.
they're like Amish, except they can use technology and they're
Yeah.
Jewish.
So there's like a 25% infection rate. So like they're getting everyone sick. So they're fighting the governor and
They had a riot, basically.
yeah, they beat up a journalist. Good people. Anyway. So that is funny because obviously, in New York, when you walk down the street, whether there's someone around or not, you throw a mask on. I mean, here out in the burbs, we keep it here, but once I see someone, I throw it up out of respect because I might be asymptomatic and the alpha male that I am, and I don't want to get anyone else sick. That's why I wear the mask. It's for you. It's out of respect for you. I'm wearing this ridiculous thing for you. Okay. We're getting on the cusp of ridiculousness. We're going to try to get Josh Slaughter to Skype in. Last time we Skyped with Josh, he put a silly little background on his, Anyway, here's the story. What's the story behind the story? Know it all, frickin' Brian. I've been dominating today. The indictments here. The indictments.
Yep.
11 indictments. Don't regionalize. But
yeah, 11 indictments in the New York area of trades guys who they took
a steam fitter local and a plumber's local. So basically, they are being accused of receiving bribes.
$100,000, I think,
in cash, I guess, or in like weed. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's not clear. Like, here's $100,000 worth of Harbor Freight tools. I mean, what the fuck are you gonna do with that, James?
I don't know. That's a lot of tools from Harbor Freight.
I mean, yeah. Here's a bunch of wrenches that are gonna bend. Anyway,
100,000 screwdrivers.
So these fucking guys got jammed up. And this isn't the first time that this specific local has gotten jammed up. I wrote about it on a Yukon blog many years ago, and some guy approached me. And I think that guy is named in this as a list of people who are going to get all fucking fucked in the ass in federal fuck me in the ass prison.
Yeah.
Good. Stop breaking the law, assholes! That's from Liar Liar. But anyway. So,
also, it's, what, 11 guys for $100,000? Like, you're going to throw away
that's like
everything?
10 grand each.
Yeah, for 10 grand each. Like, guys got to do better.
I mean, listen, if I'm breaking the law, I want $1 million just to me.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. The big name in there is the president of the Building Trades Council.
For New York State.
Here's a guy that would never be on this show. Here's a guy who wouldn't piss on me if my face was on fire. So I don't feel like love and loyalty to a person like this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have much loyalty to the men and women under in that organization. You don't have to be a UCOM client for me to have your back, but this is just too much. But we got Josh yet?
No, I'll get him on.
Okay. We're working on it right now? Yeah, we need him right away. Because after this indictment came out and people were named, a opinion editorial was put in this Republican rag called the New York Post. The New York Post is not exactly progressive. Even though Alexander Hamilton allegedly founded it, it is just pictures and nudity and written not at a 4th grade level like most papers. It's written at like a 2nd grade level. The words are very big and they're not hard to read. I good at read. So, and people who read the Post, I mean, mostly you get it for the back. You look at page 6 to see like Britney Spears' boobs. And then you turn it over and you look at the back.
Yeah.
There are some morons. Are you some damn moron? We have that dump somewhere. There are some.
Are you some damn moron?
There's some morons actually read it for its news, and it's not news. It's a rag put on by Rupert Murdoch, who is a big time. And is he going to jail? Did he die yet?
No, he's still alive.
Ah, shit. Unfortunately, he's still alive. But Rupert Murdoch hates unions. He hates working people.
Yep.
He's probably a kid fucker.
That's
Probably
why he
raped
started
women.
Fox News.
He's a piece of shit. So that's his property. So you can only understand that nothing righteous is coming out of there. So I was surprised that when I wrote an opinion editorial for Labor Day.
Jeez. All right. There's something screwed up with it.
I'm alive.
All right. Josh, I can hear you, I think.
Yeah, give me 1 second here.
I just can't see you. Not yet. We're working on it. Josh, can you mute yourself for a minute? I'm trying to be a funny here. Okay. So,
we're ready to go, right?
Yeah, Josh. Where's Josh?
Can you?
Josh in the bathroom? Anyway.
Oh, in his office. Josh, can you hear us? I don't know what.
All right, this is painful. I quit. I don't want to do this shit anymore. All right, can you turn him off, James? I'm a little distracted. So I wrote an opinion editorial about how labor has changed and evolved.
This is awful.
How labor has changed and evolved over the past 3 years to deal with the hell, which is called Donald Trump. And it was picked up by the Asbury Park Press, the Orlando Sentinel, the Pittsburgh Trib Review Live something, USA Today, and MSN. So, okay, pretty good. You know, I'm a credible writer. I'm good at read. But who told me to go fuck myself literally was the New York Post. So why the fuck does this guy, Kevin Barry, get his piece in the New York Post? Because he's smarter than me?
Because he was slamming unions instead of supporting them.
Yeah, I guess it's easy to get into the New York Post when you do that.
Yeah.
And we're gonna kind of go over his opinion editorial that was in the Post, but at the same time, I want you to be mindful of the salaries of the men and women who are involved in his organization. I don't know any fucking secretary, like administrative assistant, unless you work for like Cohen in Billions, like the guy who's buying the Mets.
Yeah.
His secretary, remember, administrative assistant should make $260,000. Can you imagine that?
That'd be great.
I don't even think the international president of the UAW or the IBEW or the AFT makes that amount of money.
I was actually reading a story. Now, this was back from 2000 that said that their president made more than the AFL president and made more than just about every other union president.
So if you live
one or two,
if you live in a glass house, you shouldn't throw stones.
No.
So if you're an organizer making $258,000 while your average member makes, I know one of his members, not even 80 grand a year, there's something rotten going on there.
Yep.
Rotten.
I have Josh on the line.
Josh, hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. How's it going?
But we just can't see you. He's not on Skype?
Correct.
No.
What is going on, James? Why can't we figure this out?
We don't know. That's why we can't figure it out.
We're going to have high volume conversations. Josh, United Service Workers Union based in
Queens,
Briarwood. That's local 355, correct?
Yeah, they're located at the national headquarters.
Correct.
They want to eliminate, and get this, after all those idiots got jammed up at the plumbers and the fitters and Cahill, they went ahead and attacked the theory and concept of project labor agreements. Why is that wrong?
Well, it's a ridiculous attempt to connect things that have nothing to do with each other. First of all, it's reprehensible what those union officials did if, they're convicted and are indeed guilty, but, that's still going to the courts. But at the end of the day, what they're accused of doing, has nothing to do with project labor agreements. It wasn't even related to projects, that fall under a PLA. So it's just a desperate attempt to try to make a connection to something that, they want to get rid of, but it certainly, has no impact on PLAs playing a role. And it was a real pathetic, piece that they put in the New York Post.
As far as back as 2000, trade unions accused the union of trailing the rat, meaning they would come to employers who had rats in the front of their building and offer sweetheart contracts. That is what the home organization of the author of this piece is accused of.
Yeah.
They were kicked out of the AFL-CIO for raiding shops. Now, what does raiding mean, folks? Let's say I'm in, I don't know, a Teamsters local, and Josh, you're still with me, buddy, right? You know what raiding is, buddy, right?
Yep.
And, I work nights. I don't see the rep a lot. And all of a sudden, this non-affiliated, non-AFL-CIO union comes around and says, we'll treat you better. Your dues will be less. Your contract will be better. And join us. That's called raiding. Article 20 of the Constitution and bylaws of the AFL-CIO prevents affiliated, legitimate AFL-CIO unions from raiding each other. I mean, listen, no one fights like family, union brothers and sisters. And sometimes you have these high-volume conversations and you have problems. But you don't raid. You don't do that. The author of this piece saying we should eliminate collective bargaining agreement is a union that raids. and everyone realizes that, and it's created a lot of problems in the union movement. Josh, for this to make print, right, and for him to attack Cahill, could it be because his bum union doesn't get PLA work because they don't graduate apprentices?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's certainly a part of it. But, at the end of the day, this is an organization that, is not part of the Building Trades Council because they don't meet the standards. They pay and agree to rates that are much lower than what, trades unions in the council get for their members. In my opinion, they exploit workers because these are workers that if they were in a more legitimate union, they would be making better wages and having better benefits. And really, they degrade wages by creating an unfair advantage on bidding on projects because they come in at a lower rate and they drive wages down and make it very hard for legitimate unions to get their members work. If you're a union, you're supposed to be improving workers' lives, and the practices that this particular organization utilizes, does the opposite. And so, yeah, they're a little bitter that sometimes there's PLAs on projects that they, are not a part of. But the whole point of a PLA is to ensure that members of the Construction Trades Council, will get on these jobs. And, something to be very clear about, I mean, there's a lot of falsehoods and misinformation in what he wrote.
Mm-hmm.
A PLA does not give, union leaders a monopoly over all decisions.
No.
Even in a PLA, it's negotiated between the builder and the unions. If a builder doesn't agree to those terms, you don't have a PLA, so it can't be forced on anybody. And, it really just provides, clarification and sets the project's rules before the project starts. It removes that uncertainty. Everyone knows the deal going in, and it actually helps projects be more efficient, and it provides a savings to builders and developers because typically in a PLA there's some sort of concessions from the unions to make it more affordable for the builder, and as in order to make that happen, they get something in return, and it's a guarantee that their workers get the jobs. So it's really a win-win for everybody. But this is just, again, a pathetic attempt to try to take an unfortunate situation where you have a few, union leaders in one particular local and one in another local that, may or may not have done something wrong and attack things that have nothing to do with it.
That's right.
It's a shame. I don't even want to bring attention to it. It's completely ridiculous, the lies that are in this piece.
Yeah, I get with that. I don't want to bring attention to it either, but it also brings up a pretty good point of us talking about this, is that the fact that this made print in a Republican rag should raise the eyebrows of every proud trade unionist. That if somebody is attacking prevailing weights or prevailing or project labor agreements, these are people not to be trusted, who don't speak for us on our side. Josh, do you think that there's members though of this union? They claim to have 30,000 members. The president of this union makes, according to union facts, $475,000. I won't make that money. It would take me 4 fucking years to make that amount of money, maybe even 5. Do you think there are good people though within the ranks of this organization who can push them to cut their shit, for a lack of a better term?
Well, look, at the members have a lot of power in any organization. As if they understand their rights and they get together, and you can always put pressure on leadership to do better. And let's be honest, in any situation, it's typically not the workers' fault. They're being exploited. Even in work sites where it's non-union, I'm not going to sit there and point at the worker getting paid, $20 an hour to do something that, the package should be $70 an hour. They're being exploited, and it's the contractor that's doing the wrong thing. So at the end of the day, you want to try and educate those workers and get them to fight for themselves, and at times organize them so that they have better standards and a better life. So yeah, I think the members that are a part of this organization, certainly if they got together and put pressure on the leadership, they can improve the situation for sure.
And if they don't, pick up the phone, call a legitimate AFL-CIO union, whether you can start at the AFL-CIO in the city or just go online or even direct message me, and I'll give you guys a hand and point you in the right direction. Josh, thanks so much for your time, buddy, and for giving clarification on that. You're so intelligent sounding.
Hey, look, if I'm happy to do it. And one other thing I want to point out, because in addition to the PLAs, they brought up the fact that there was these new prevailing wage laws that give unions a monopoly on additional projects, and that's just couldn't be farther from the truth. The prevailing wage law that is currently going to New York State, all it does is say if a contractor gets a certain amount of public funds, so that it's no longer a wholly private project, they have to pay a prevailing wage. And prevailing wage does not mean union. Prevailing wage simply means that any contractor that's bidding on the work, has to pay essentially that minimum wage for a construction worker, so they can compete against union contractors and the like. And it's simply, who's going to be able to provide the best bid at a fair and level playing field wage. So that does not push anyone out, including these rogue unions. They just have to compete with fair wages, and so that was another inaccuracy I just wanted to point out.
Thank you,
but
Josh.
I appreciate the time, and it's certainly important to speak out when there's misinformation and clearly attempt to misinform the public.
And what we're going to do with this interview, and like we did with the Rick Levy interview earlier, we're going to cut it up and send it out to all the other labor podcasters. So, Josh, we're going to help make you famous. All right. All right,
Not
buddy.
about me. It's about protecting our members.
Look at you. You're the man. Thanks, Josh. See you around, buddy. Okay.
Thanks, Chris.
Yep. All right.
Take
bye.
care, man.
Bye. All right. We're gonna do a break because when we come back, we don't have audio, right, on Trump's pick for Supreme Court. I guess we got to talk about the whole N-bomb thing.
Yeah.
And I want to do a bunch of breaks because I want to make sure everyone sees the hot, very hot UConn PAC ads. And if you want to help other unionists in red states see those ads, go to UConnPAC.org and give some money. UConn Live with me, Chris LaGrange. News, talk, sports, and workforce politics. We'll read our interaction when we get back to.
UConn Live with Chris LaGrange is sponsored in part by
The UConn Media Group is our nation's premier marketing, advertising, and internal union communications consulting service. UConn's award-winning websites, newsletters, texts, and strategic messaging delivers the union value set in a unique and relatable message that really resonates. With affordable rates and proven organizing methods that work, we take a load off your workload. To learn more and set up a consultation, visit uconnworks.com. That's uconnworks.com.
I wear a mask to keep my grandmother safe.
My dad. My sister, who's immunocompromised.
I wear a mask to protect my coworkers, to make my office safe.
So businesses can stay open and don't close again, and jobs can come back.
I wear a mask to help my favorite restaurant.
To help my favorite store.
To protect my customers.
Please wear a mask in public. It's up to all of us.
Over the last 4 years, Trump and Betsy DeVos have taken part in a campaign to destroy public education.
I don't know overall. I can't say overall that they have all gotten better. I have not intentionally visited schools that are underperforming.
Diverting federal funding to school vouchers for charter schools run by their donors.
I can't learn anything because they shut down the school.
Taxpayers' dollars. And where did it go?
Plus, cutting funding to schools that could not reopen due to COVID-19. Schools that did reopen were required to shoulder millions of dollars in new costs to protect students and teachers with no help from the federal government. They cut $9 billion in funding and rolled back protections for special ed students. Trump also put Neil Gorsuch on the Supreme Court, the deciding vote in the Janus decision, taking away a teacher's voice at work. 4 more years of Trump will destroy public education. 2020 is your chance to make sure educators are heard. Dr. Jill Biden is an educator too.
I got up every single day so excited to go teach.
a substitute, a high school English teacher, a reading specialist, a history teacher, now a community college professor in Delaware and Northern Virginia. Even as Second Lady, Jill Biden continued to teach.
I never saw her on any day of the week where she wasn't carrying a huge stack of papers to grade.
Educators will always have an ally with Joe and Jill Biden in the White House.
UConn PAC is responsible for the contents of this ad.
UConn Blog is the most trusted daily news source for national news that affects unions in politics, sports, and current events. UConn Live, our weekly podcast, is fast and colorful, broadly covering trending workforce issues, streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. The UConn Media Group is our nation's premier union communications consulting firm, building eye-popping websites, emails, and texts with industry-leading video and digital campaigns. Hit the like button, subscribe on YouTube. You work hard, and so do we.
Some people are always in a hurry. They run when they could walk. Race up steps when others take it slow. When Joe Biden's president, America is just going to have to keep up. We won't have to wait to deal with COVID-19. He's already got a plan. Won't have to wait for a president on the side of working families. He's from Scranton. No one has to tell him Wall Street didn't build this country. He knows who did. We're a nation that's been hit hard by this virus. But Joe Biden knows when you get knocked down, you get up off the mat. No one needs to tell Joe how hard life can hit you. Losing a wife, a daughter, a son. But he knows it's in the pain you can find purpose. To lead America, you need to understand America.
America's an idea. An idea stronger than any army, more powerful than any dictator or tyrant. It gives hope to the most desperate people on earth.
And it's an idea as alive and powerful today as it was when it was first proposed.
The most powerful idea in the history of the world, I think, beats in the heart of the people of this country. No matter your race, your ethnicity, no matter your gender identity, your sexual orientation, no matter your faith, it unites America. Whether your ancestors were native to these shores, they were brought here forcibly and enslaved, whether they're immigrants from generations back, or those coming today looking to build a better life for their families.
Our best days are not behind us. They're ahead.
In times as challenging as these, I believe there's only one way forward. As a united America, united in our dream of a better future for us and for our children. This is our moment. This is our mission, and we'll do it together. I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Tell me what winging.
Chris LaGrange.
They sure don't. UConn Live with Chris LaGrange. News Talk Sports, Workforce, Politics. The most controversial labor news show on, in, and around internet. Interactions. What do we got?
Montserrat says, thank you for sharing that story, Rick Levy. That is right. The labor movement has been organizing for some time, and we're holding elected officials accountable. Flip the House, people power, and Texas is a battleground state. When we vote, we will change Texas.
The stars at night are big and bright. You got the Pee-wee thing in there.
Can we do more Pee-wee dumps?
I got one more. Where is it? When we talk about our governor. Andy! He does not like being called Andy.
We got to get more.
I'd like to have him on the show one day and just let it slip.
Pretend we're in... governor, I thought you were
Didn't
talking
he
about
get a
Pee-wee
sense
Herman.
of humor now? all of a sudden?
Maybe. Speaking of Texas, not only are they a battleground state and they have a growing union movement, and Frito-Lay makes your chips there. And my Tahoe is made there. Everything in Texas is just bigger, they say. The Dodgers and the Braves are in a bubble in Arlington.
Yep.
Are you sure Arlington's in Texas?
Yes.
But that's Virginia.
It is as well. But the stadium is in Texas.
Shut the fuck up, Brian.
Shut up, Brian.
If I remember correctly, it's right outside of Dallas.
Fort Worth, Dallas County, Plano, and Houston are battleground counties. Rick told us that. And Josh Slaughter calling out the bullshit in New York. Thank you, Josh. I didn't want to. We should get into this. What are we doing now, Brian?
Amy Coney Barrett?
Yeah. So, I mean, I tempt any of you to go to your workplace and drop the N-bomb and see if nothing bad happens to you. That's your president, not mine. You fucking assholes voted for him, not me. I forgive you. Just don't fucking do it again. You can be my friend again November 4th. If you keep it up, I'm gonna fuck you up. I will somehow figure out a way to fuck you up.
You've been hanging out in the Trump Facebook groups too much. Apparently that's what they've been saying.
That's all they do is curse. Liberals, we have guns too, but we don't tell you. Know when you know? When it's too late. When you're pushing up daisies. Just kidding. Listen. This woman is not... She's, first of all, too young, right? She doesn't have enough time in the courts.
Doesn't have enough time
She's
on the
definitely
court.
just going to go there to do whatever Trump says. Take away women's reproductive rights, repeal Obamacare, and then when he questions the legitimacy of this election, she's going to side with him. And she's got young kids. I mean, what the...
Well, she has seven of them.
She's busy.
Including 2 black kids.
Oh, wow.
That she adopted.
Yeah, well, she's doing that for image. Trust me. But she obviously drops the N-bomb at home then around her poor kids?
I don't know. I mean, she doesn't think that it creates a hostile work environment.
What else is the story behind the story?
So basically, she's only been on the court since 2017 when Trump put her on the Court of Appeals in the 7th District. So she has a short record on labor cases, but she did do one case that involved workplace discrimination. And in the case,
hey, Mike.
She wrote the majority opinion that said using the N-word to workers does not create a hostile work environment. She said the N-word is an egregious racial epithet. That said, Smith can't win by proving that the word was uttered. He must also demonstrate that Colbert, who was the boss, used this word, altered the conditions of his employment, and created a hostile, abusive working environment. So to just say how radical this is, a similar case came before Brett Kavanaugh when he was on the appellate court.
Yeah.
In 2013, and he ruled that a single sufficiently severe incident of using the N-word did create a hostile work environment. So she's in basically direct opposition to somebody who is on the court now and is very conservative.
I wouldn't beg her with James's dick.
James! Yeah, you would.
No. I would not. I gave up on white girls years ago. All right, so vote today, huh?
They're voting. They should be voting sometime in the next couple days to get her out of committee. I heard that there's a vote scheduled for next Thursday, and I'm not sure if that's a committee vote or a full Senate vote, but they're trying to get it done as quick as possible.
Are any of our listeners from Houston? If you are, we need to hear from you, like text or type or something. Oh, what's the number? 631-969-9599. People can text us there.
That's the call-in number.
That's also the text number. People can call and text. How are we monitoring that? Are we at all? James has to. I want to know what's going on in Houston because we put it out on world famous UConn blog. Every time you go there, I get a penny from Google. 3 people died, and 1 was injured in the future headquarters of Marathon Gas and Oil.
Yeah.
At a partial building collapse in Houston. They died on the 13th floor.
Yeah, the stairwell they were in on the 13th floor collapsed and killed 3 people, injured.
It was an open shop, so that means that there were unions on the job.
Yeah, the people who died and the people who were working on that section were non-union. The union guys weren't around there at the time.
I wish we knew more about this, other than useless OSHA doing an investigation.
Yeah, unfortunately, unlike the Hard Rock hotel collapse, which happened last year, actually a year ago Monday, there wasn't a lot of information. The workers weren't speaking out about it. There wasn't like video of it about to collapse 2 days before.
But this one there was.
No, that was with Hard Rock. With Marathon, there wasn't a lot of information.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. So with Hard Rock, there was some information.
Yeah, I mean, if you remember, we showed the video or the pictures of the beams looking like they were about to collapse, and we had a lot of people reach out to us who would walk through the site and stuff, and who were able to give us inside information. But
if you're wondering why would a nationwide news blog that specializes in workforce politics concentrate on the death of 3 suckers in Houston, because that's someone's son. That could have been your future member. I mean, anytime one worker dies because of greed and neglect in one corner of this nation, it affects workers in all corners of the nation.
Yeah, well, and one of the really sad things when I was writing it, I saw that loved ones, mothers, wives of the workers who were presumed dead at the time, because it took 2 days to get the bodies out. They were there, and they were basically sitting there praying, hoping that their person, their loved one had found a air hole or something and had been able to survive.
If you're a guy organizing the building trades who says, I don't give a shit, and you laugh it off, I fucking hate your guts. Stop listening to my show. Stop reading my blog. Go to the bar. Get drunk. Don't wear your seatbelt. Because you're a shithead. You're a fucking asshole. I mean, these guys maybe were being talked to becoming organized.
Yeah.
Maybe, and they're just working schmucks like the rest of us.
Yeah.
Trying to make a buck.
Well, I mean, one of the guys, he was 29 and he had a wife, 3 kids. He's trying to get by.
Yeah. His only crime was going to work.
Yeah.
And OSHA, which doesn't work anymore because of the way some of you guys voted, it's going to take them years and years and years right away we'll get the funding. And President Biden and Vice President Harris will fully fund Department of Labor and OSHA. But it's going to take years after that for them to get back into the flow. I mean, everyone that I know that was like good at OSHA has retired ever since Trump became president.
Yeah, I mean, how many hundreds, if not thousands, of new federal workers do we have to hire to replace the ranks at OSHA, Department of Labor, National Labor Relations?
Yeah. All right, we're going to do another quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about OSHA's many failures and some intelligence put out by, who's this? That unions actually increase political power for poor people. No shit, Sherlock. We're going to reiterate common sense when we come back. All right, UCOM Live with me, Chris LaGrange. News, talk, sports, workforce, politics. The most controversial labor news show on, in, and around the internet. DM us your mailing address, and we'll send you these super cool UCOM blog, union made in the USA, hard hat stickers. We'll be right back.
Promotional considerations for UCOM Live with Chris LaGrange are provided by the following.
The future of energy is changing. As coal plants become too expensive to operate and nations and states around the globe move to more green energy, we need to ensure that there is a just transition and that these renewable energy jobs are being done union. While Donald Trump thinks wind power should be stopped,
If you have a windmill anywhere near your house, congratulations. Your house just went down 75% in value. And they say the noise causes cancer. You told me that one, okay?
Joe Biden has a plan to invest in our energy infrastructure with union labor. He is committed to securing $2 trillion in his first term to build a new energy infrastructure.
I see master electricians and union workers who went through union apprenticeships, who start off good wages and quality benefits that only grow from there. These investments are a win-win-win for this country, creating jobs, cutting energy costs, protecting our climate,
He is committed to retrofit 4 million buildings and build a national electric car charging system, creating 1 million union energy jobs. Since Trump has been in office, he has ceded the race to create renewable energy technologies to the Chinese. They spend $3 for every $1 we spend on renewables, giving them a big advantage. It is time for America to lead on renewable energy and ensure hundreds of thousands of good-paying union jobs for decades to come.
When Donald Trump thinks about climate change, the only word he can muster is hoax. When I think about climate change, the word I think of is jobs.
UConn PAC is responsible for the contents of this ad.
Finally, a super PAC dedicated to giving working people a seat at the table, UConnPAC.org. UConn PAC is a federally registered super PAC that gets behind causes and candidates that support expanding job opportunities through apprenticeships for all Americans, pay equity, livable wages, the right to organize, and repealing 14B, making right to work illegal in the United States. With clean money raised from regular working people, UConn PAC is changing the reputation of super PACs as a political organization that can serve the greater good. Learn more and donate today at UConnPAC.org. That's UConnPAC.org.
Put your mask on! Put your mask on! There's COVID cases! Hurry up! Put it on! Put it on! Put your mask on! Put your mask on! There's COVID cases! Hurry up! Put it on! Put it on!
¿Cómo están, bitches? He's an angry elf.
Chris LaGrange, you're a motherfucker.
All right. Knock it off. UCOM Live with Chris LaGrange. News, talk, sports, workforce, politics. Most controversial labor news show on and around the internet. Put your fucking mask on. What do you say? There's COVID cases.
Yeah.
There's COVID cases. Put your fucking mask on. Skippy and I were getting lunch. I had a salad with some chicken on it. Went to a place we used to go to all the time, but because of COVID, we didn't like going there because it just looks like a place where coronavirus would hang out. And while they're there, there's a guy wearing a mask. He comes in because you're required to wear a mask everywhere you go, especially in interior in the Empire State. And there was a red, white, and blue mask. And I said pretty loud, I looked at this guy, be like, hey, who do you think that fucking guy's voting for? But it doesn't make any sense because our good friend Lenny, Lenny sent us a photo. It's on our Instagram.
Yeah.
Where he's wearing a red, white, and blue mask. I just don't like how the bigots hijacked the flag.
I thought it would have been a great idea for the federal government to send everybody an American flag mask at the beginning of this.
They can't even figure it out.
Yeah.
Listen, give to UConnPAC.org right now. You saw that ad on energy. You saw the ad earlier on education. We're doing one on prevailing wages and OSHA to target guys in the construction trades. If you give us money, we can go ahead and have enough of it to push those ads to registered voters in targeted swing states. This is not going to our pocket. I mean, for like a year and a half, we had like a negative $25 balance.
Yeah.
Now we have a little bit of money and we got a big chunk coming in, but we need more and more and more because I need to have zero balance by
in
what?
3 weeks.
I can spend a lot of money in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
I can spend a lot of money. Trust me. Also, give a brother a hand. We had these Union Made in the USA official. Which camera, James? Straight ahead?
Both of them.
These official UCOM Made in the USA job site safety tees. It's got, of course, our world famous work hard, work safe, talk union mantra. My awesome face on your left arm. And right on your right asshole would be subscribe and watch UCOM Live and YouTube and Facebook. Be the envy of every foreman and super on your job with your official UCOM job site safety tee. $25. I know, but postage is $5.
Biden's selling his for like 30.
Yeah.
They're not as good.
Listen, give to Biden first, then after the election, come and buy my shirts. Inventory is light. 10 more minutes. OSHA, we keep talking about how much they suck. Go, Brian, come on.
Yeah, so the AFL-CIO released a study that found that through October 1st, OSHA's received 9,000 COVID-19 complaints, but they've only done 198 investigations. Additionally, they had 1,215 cases referred to them. They only opened up 85 investigations. 2,000 of those complaints came from healthcare workers, another 1,000 from retail workers. And they say that while workplaces have been a primary source of spread, the federal government has almost no data that they can provide on how people are being infected at work because there's no national system to contact trace. And then instead of providing strong safety requirements, the Trump administration has provided business-driven recommendations that were voluntary and that were weakened by political and business interference. And we know, UCOM reported back in the spring that Trump was being advised by fast food CEOs who had donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to his campaign.
Wendy's.
Yeah. And so then why should we be surprised that he had weak standards?
OSHA sucks. What do you want?
And
heck, can you imagine, though, you're being forced to take your OSHA 30? And why would you after hearing this shit?
Yeah.
I mean, I got to pay taxes. Motherfucker paid $750.
Mm-hmm.
My accountant's telling me I owe like $16,000 or some bullshit.
Well, you should take your OSHA 30 because it'll save your life.
Yeah, that is true. Should I pay my federal taxes? I don't want to.
Well, if you want to get your Medicaid and your Social Security.
Shut up, Brian.
Shut up, Brian.
The Rays are playing the Astros in San Diego. The winner of that championship series goes to the World Series.
Yes.
I would like to see the Astros go to the World Series.
The Astros had a losing record this regular season.
That's why I would like to see him go. I like Altuve.
They also
I like how resilient they've been with that scandal. And so what? I'm on board with the blue state. I mean, the red state to be blue. Hey, listen.
Technically, both of them are in that spot because Florida is also a red state that we're hoping to
get. We gave up on Florida. So, Dodgers, Atlanta. I mean, I think a great series. What do you think, James? Dodgers, Astros.
Bring it on.
Yeah. All right. Discarding. Okay. Okay. Unions increase political power for poor people. How? What the hell do they mean?
Yeah, so
who put this out?
The IBW put it out, but they didn't do the study. The study was done by some researchers at Duke University in Toulouse. I don't know what that is.
Can you imagine getting the funding? We want to do a story about how making more is good for poor people. Okay, where do I sign?
Well, what they
I don't get it.
I think they surveyed 50,000 people to find out what issues they cared about.
Okay.
And what they found was that issues that high-income voters cared about, your congressman was 13.5% more likely to support, whereas issues poor people cared about, they only supported about 1.6% of the time. However, if you were a member of a union and you were poor, the percentage that they cared about your issue increased by 6 to 8 points.
Oh, I see. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was basically...
They're saying that to make these whores even more whorish, you got to have a CBA and a union behind you. Kind of like how we first opened up this show.
Yeah.
For unions to get involved in politics, if you want the elected official to care about minimum wage or making, like in New York, we were trying to pass the Public Works Bill, which would solidify and make prevailing wages even stronger. Elected officials are going to listen.
Yeah. Well, and like as they were saying in like the booty of the polls, right? If you don't go out and vote and you don't make your voice heard that way, politicians don't tend to care. And we do know that high income people tend to vote a lot more. They tend to be more active in politics. Whereas lower income people, they have other shit they have to do. They don't have people to take care of their kids so they can go to a political rally, or they don't have, they may have to work 2 or 3 jobs, so they can't go and do a lobby day.
All right. I'm done. Good enough show, James. We couldn't figure out Skype.
We're going to crawl across the finish line today.
But we're going to figure it out. By next week, if you want to Skype in, let us know. We're not doing a show on the 29th. We got to prepare for Election Day. I got to go and plug in all the polls myself.
Yeah.
It's just me.
You have to go make sure the Russian troll farm is properly stealing the election.
You know what sucks about Russian spies? They look like us. Why can't they be like Kalahari Bushmen so they really stick out?
That's just because you live in New York.
Like Aboriginal hair. Like, that's definitely a Russian spy.
You'll know who the Russian spies are if you're in the Midwest.
Every time I see a Trump sticker, I'm like, look at the fucking asshole Russian spy. They're too stupid to insult, so I just stop. I just flip them the bird.
Did you see who endorsed Trump this week?
Taylor Swift?
No, the Taliban.
All right.
They held a vote.
That's awesome. Oh, man. On Survey Monkey?
Probably.
All right.
Whatever the Afghan version is.
Okay. If you've seen our PAC ad and you don't like it, shove that up your ass. But if you saw it and you like it, give us some money so you can get other people to do the same. Comment. We're getting good comments on it, right?
Yep.
This is the best ad I've ever seen. You guys are like madmen.
Somebody said it should be on TV in Michigan.
It should be, but it's not.
Instead, we're
the
running
story of my fucking life. So remember, the only crime, what, James?
I'm moving to Michigan.
I know.
Too cold.
If you look at my Instagram, I actually have something that says Michigan sucks.
I'll go to Florida with you.
I'll go to Florida with you too, buddy. All right, listen, James. The only crime you can commit is the crime of doing nothing. Silence means consent. So make some noise in the presence of evil and injustice. Care more about your community and your kids and less about your guns, because your guns will never, ever love you back. And be the change this November, America. Thanks for stopping by, America, and to the good, hardworking people of Cambria Heights, New York. I'm Chris LaGrange. This was UCOM Live, and we'll try this again next week.
Okay. Bye. Okay. Bye.